So, you've probably heard of the Premier League, La Liga, or even the Bundesliga. But what about Eliteserien? Norway's top football league might not dominate headlines across Europe, but it has a rich and fascinating history that deserves way more attention than it gets. And in this video, we're going to dive deep into the story of Eliteserien, from its early beginnings to its current form, and explore how football in Norway evolved into what it is today. To understand Eliteserien, we first need to go back almost a century. Organized football in Norway began to take shape in the early 20th century. In the 1930s, Norway already had a vibrant football scene, but there was no unified national league. Instead, teams competed in regional groups, and the national champion was decided through a knockout-style tournament called the Norwegian, or the League of Norway. It wasn't until 1948 that a true national top division was formed, known as Hovedserien, which translates to the main league. Hovedserien featured only 16 teams, split into two groups of 8, with the winners of each group facing off in a final to decide the national champion. This format lasted for over a decade, but in 1963, a major turning point came. Norway introduced a single-division national league for the first time. This was the official beginning of the modern era of Norwegian football. The new top flight was called the divisjon, or first division, and consisted of 10 teams. The league gradually grew in popularity, even though Norwegian clubs were far from European giants. Over time, it expanded to 12, then 14, and eventually 16 teams. But here's where it gets interesting. In 1990, the league was rebranded as Tippeligaen, thanks to a sponsorship deal with Norsk Tipping, the national betting company. This era marked a significant shift. For the first time, Norwegian football had a modern, commercial image. Tippeligaen became more professional, matches began to be televised regularly, and the clubs started to build more solid infrastructures. The name Tippeligaen stuck for over 2 decades, until 2017, when the league was finally renamed to what we know today, Eliteserien, meaning the Elite Series. While the name may have changed, the league continued to build on its legacy, focusing on player development, tactical innovation, and community-based club models. Now, let's talk about the clubs, because the history of Eliteserien is really the history of its teams. One club immediately stands out when we talk about dominance in Norwegian football: Rosenborg BK. Based in Trondheim, Rosenborg is by far the most successful club in Norwegian history. They've won the league title 26 times, including an astonishing run of 13 consecutive championships between 1992 and 2004. That kind of consistency is nearly unmatched anywhere in Europe. They also made several appearances in the UEFA Champions League group stages during the 90s and early 2000s, putting Norwegian football on the map internationally. But Rosenborg isn't the whole story. In recent years, another name has risen: Bodø, Glimt. Once considered a modest northern club with little chance of success, Glimt shocked the nation and even Europe by winning the league in 2020 and 2021, playing an aggressive, attacking style of football that caught even top European clubs by surprise. They famously defeated Jose Mourinho's AS Roma 6-1 in the UEFA Europa Conference League, a result that sent shockwaves across the football world. Then there's Molde FK, a consistent top 3 team that's produced stars like Erling Haaland before he moved to Red Bull Salzburg and then exploded onto the world stage. Molde has won the league multiple times in the modern era, and they're known for having one of the most organized youth systems in the country. Other important clubs include Viking FK, one of the oldest clubs in Norway, founded in 1899. Based in Stavanger, Viking has a passionate fan base and a deep footballing tradition. Then there's Brann from Bergen, another club with a strong legacy, and Lillestrøm, known for its gritty, physical style of play and a loyal fan base. The league has also been a launching pad for talent. Players like John Arne Riis, Martin Degaard, and Erling Haaland all started their careers in Eliteserien before making their way to Europe's biggest stages. Norwegian clubs are often praised for their focus on youth development, team chemistry, and tactical discipline, a necessity in a league with limited financial resources. But what really makes Eliteserien stand out is its unique football culture. Norway's geography plays a big role here, with harsh winters and long distances between cities. Many clubs rely on artificial turf pitches, a rarity in most of Europe. Stadiums might not always be massive, but the atmosphere is intimate and passionate. Supporters are deeply connected to their local clubs, and many teams operate as member-owned, community-driven organizations. This gives Norwegian football a much more personal, grassroots feeling compared to the highly commercialized top leagues in other countries. And let's not forget the rivalries. Rosenborg versus Molde is arguably the biggest rivalry in the league. Today, a battle between tradition and ambition. Brann versus Viking is another fierce contest, a clash between the west coast cities of Bergen and Stavanger. These games aren't just about football, they reflect local pride, identity, and even politics in some cases. In recent years, Eliteserien has become more attractive for global audiences, especially with the rise of streaming platforms and the success of Norwegian players abroad, but still, the league retains a sense of humility and authenticity. That makes it different from more glamorous competitions. It's a league where clubs still value homegrown talent, where fans still stand in the cold for 90 minutes, singing for their local teams, and where the next big football star might be quietly developing, far away from the bright lights of Madrid or Manchester. So, whether you're a football fanatic looking to discover a new league, or just curious about how football thrives in one of the coldest, most scenic corners of Europe, Eliteserien has something to offer. It's a story of resilience, tradition, and evolution. From a fragmented league in the 1930s to a modern, forward-thinking competition today, the journey of Norwegian football is one of the most underrated tales in the game. If you haven't been paying attention to Eliteserien yet, maybe it's time to start.